talking delayed gratification, how to buy rentals in today's market, and then also doing a live Q&A. So we it's gonna be a fun one today. What's up, Corey? What's up, Rudy? What's up, Darren? Uh, what's up, Aaron, Jalen? Bunch of people popping on. Appreciate everyone taking the time to get on today. So today, I want to cover two topics and then do a Q&A thereafter. In my opinion, one of the biggest reasons the successful people are successful, and then also talk about how to buy rental properties in today's market, where the rates are at and where the prices are at. One strategy that you can start using to start taking down more rental properties. And then we're going to do a Q&A thereafter. Oh, and we're going to talk taxes. Taxes is the fun stuff. So I just wanted to start with something real quick. Like I said, I think one of the biggest reasons I see people be successful is one trait, right? It's not the only trait, but it's one of the most important ones that I believe people need to have. And that thing is called delayed gratification, right? What does that mean? It's giving up the present value of something for a greater future value, right? Throughout my career, thinking back how I've been able to proceed through the years. My first deal took 16 months. I didn't make a penny in real estate for the first 16 months. So, people think that they're going to get rich overnight once they decide to start real estate, or when they, decide to join a coaching program or hire a coach or whatever that is. I did the same thing. I thought I was going to get rich overnight, and I didn't. I paid 25 grand to a mentor, and it took me 16 months to do my first deal. But sticking to it for that long and finally being able to do my first deal, I made $107,000 net profit on that one deal. That's delayed gratification, right? Another thing is when I first started, I wasn't wholesaling houses. I was flipping houses, because you can wholesale a house and make $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 today, or you can flip it and make $30,000, $40,000, 30, 60, 90, or 3 to 6 months from now. I was okay not taking the money today to delay the gratification into the future to have more money into the future. Another example, I was making hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars net per year, and I was still driving a 2004 Toyota Camry, right? I easily could have go out and bought something nice, but I did that for at least 2 years, and then I bought a $30,000 car and thought that I was spending a lot of money, right? Multi six figures in the bank, and spent 30 grand, and I was like, man, this is a lot of money, right? But I was willing to delay my gratification, not ball out, have a nice car, to be able to do that, right? Building my personal house, I had money, I had land, I had assets, and I didn't build my personal house for years because I was willing to, again, delay my gratification. I wanted to go out there and I wanted to buy 12 more rental properties, or 10. I forget the exact number, but I wanted to buy enough rental properties to cover my expenses when I did move into my new house. So I ended up building a brand new house, custom build at, I think it was 25, maybe 26 years old. But I had enough rental properties to be able to pay for my expenses when I had that property, right? I didn't go out there and, rent a high-end condo, for $5 grand a month or 10 grand a month or whatever it is, when I was making 6 figures a month, and I didn't do it because that wasn't the end goal, right? I built a house. I did it the right way. I got a tax abatement on it. My monthly mortgage payment was like $2,500 a month. It was I ended up selling it for $750 grand, $2,500 a month. I was not balling out, although I could have, but I wanted to save my money, invest the assets, and delay my gratification, right? Another thing today, I get more excited to buy a rental property that I'm going to make money on than I do buying a flip that I'm going to make $20,000, $40,000, $50,000 on, because 20 grand today doesn't change my life. It doesn't do anything for me. It's nice, but it doesn't do anything for me. I'm more happy because I know that single family house that I buy as a rental property, I'm going to make, 500 grand over the next 25 years with that one asset. So I get more excited knowing that I'm banking more money into the future than I do making money today, right? And that's how successful people do it. Their first check, they don't go out and blow. A lot of people get their first paycheck, or they wholesale their first house, and, they get that 10 grand and then they go spend the 10 grand, start from zero again. You have to be comfortable, living below your means massively. What up, Terry? What up, Zach? Living below your means massively to be able to bankroll, save, invest into the future. So when you do come up and you do start, spending a little bit of money, you're way farther ahead than where you could have been, right? It's one of the biggest things I see people, successful people, they are comfortable delaying their gratification, right? I'm good. Like I get way more happy when I do things in the future, when I'm building something for the future, when I'm stacking assets for the future than I do making money today, right? It's always good to, make $100,000 check, right? You need to, like, there's a balance here. You know what I mean? You need to have something that produces cash, right? It could be wholesaling. It could be a W-2 job. It could be flipping houses. You need something that can build cash because you need cash like today, obviously, to live and to continue to grow. But you also need to be aware of building something for the future, right? The rental properties that I bought 9 years ago are amazing, amazing assets that I still own today because I bought them when they were half the price of what they are today. When the rates were 3%, my mortgage payment is like $400 on one of these properties that I rent for $1,400 a month. Like, you can't get that in today's market, right? I'm way more thankful to myself for not flipping that property 9 years ago to make $30,000. I'm grateful to myself for making the decision to have delayed gratification, to be able to make $1,000 a month net, hands free, not doing a single thing for the rest of my life, right? I'm thankful to myself I was able to do that. But you need to have an income stream coming in. Could be wholesaling, could be your W-2 job, could be flipping houses, but you also need to build assets for the future. You need to delay your gratification to build something for the future. So for simplicity, for those that are watching, if you're in real estate, wholesale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 houses, keep a rental property. Then wholesale or flip the next 2, 4, 6 houses, and then keep a rental property, right? Instead of just flipping a wholesale and everything, start taking down assets, right? Start saving money to build into the future. So that's the first thing, delayed gratification. If you want to have the success, if you want to be, miles ahead of people in the future, 1 year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years, 20 years from now, you have to make those decisions today. Don't chase money for the rest of your life. I did that for the first 5 years of my real estate career. I was chasing money. Luckily, I bought a few rental properties along the way. And I realized I was on a hamster wheel of life. I wanted to get off that hamster wheel of life and start actually building wealth instead of chasing money, chasing riches. So delayed gratification, write it down, understand it, and start practicing it because it's going to help you get to where you want to go. So question for everyone in the chat right now, if you could drop a comment, if you're currently in real estate, if you're a realtor, if you're an investor, wholesaler, flipper, landlord, whatever it is, if you're currently in real estate today and you're going to pay taxes in about 3.5 weeks, drop a comment if you're going to pay taxes and you're in real estate. Drop a comment because I'm serious. Drop a comment because I want to see how many people this is. If you make money in real estate today, drop a comment either way. If you're in real estate today, are you going to make money? Are you going to pay taxes? Or are you not going to pay taxes? Right? Let me know in the comment section, because if you're in real estate, Crit, appreciate you being honest, and that's where I was for a long, long time. If you're in real estate, there's no reason you should pay taxes. None. If you are a full-time real estate investor, Flyboy, Rudy, appreciate y'all dropping a comment. If you're actively in real estate, there is no reason you should pay taxes, right? Because there's a massive, massive difference when people talk numbers between gross income. You sell $1 million in products, but the products cost 500 grand. And then you have payroll, and then you have shipping expenses. What up, Henry? And then you have all these expenses, and your net is, let's say, 100 grand. So you sell $1 million, but your profit is 100 grand. The $1 million ain't yours. It's gross. So you only walk with 100 grand at the end of the year, but you're going to pay a third of that in taxes. So you're actually only walking with 70,000 in your pocket, net at the end of the year. If you're in real estate, there's something called cost segregation studies and accelerated depreciation. You can offset potentially that entire tax income, the tax liability, meaning that if you net 100 grand, you walk away with 100 grand. So gross rev, net profit, money after taxes. There's levels to this. So when you talk, the only number that I care about is my net after taxes, is my net income after taxes. That's the only thing that I care about, is how much money is in my pocket at the end of the year. And that's the only thing anybody should care about. All these crazy, I do $10 million in revenue. Okay. You sell 10 $1 million houses. That's $10 million in revenue. Right. And the only thing people should care about is net profits. That's the only thing that matters. So again, if you are going to pay taxes, buy real estate, buy rental properties, do cost segregation studies so you can accelerate your depreciation to offset your entire tax liability. Because at the end of the year, let me ask you all a question. At the end of the year, let's say you net profit $500,000, net, true 500 grand of profit. Would you rather pay $150,000 to the government, or would you rather go buy 15 houses? The money's gone either way. You pay 150 grand to the government, or you pay 150 grand to buy 15 houses. Which one would you rather do? The answer is obvious. You would rather own the houses. And that's the power of these strategies in real estate: accelerated depreciation and cost segregation studies. So if you're going to pay taxes and you're a full-time real estate investor, you definitely don't have to. Last tip: would you really need to buy 15 houses to cover 150,000 depreciation? So it's $150,000 tax liability, which means your net is about 500 grand. So you really need to offset $500,000 to be able to keep the $150,000 tax liability. So tax liability and taxable income are two different things. Taxable income, 500 grand is how much you profit. Your taxable liability, usually is a third-ish of that. So that's where I got the 150 grand from. So you have to get by enough assets to be able to write off 500 grand to then offset your tax liability of 150 grand. Hopefully that answered your question. One strategy in today's market to be able to buy rentals, and then want to open it up to a Q&A for anybody who's got questions here. But when you buy, so I personally burr into all my assets. So I buy real estate with a private money lender. I renovate it with a private money lender. I rent it out, and then I refinance it with a bank. So with doing that, there's two things that I look at. One is my all-in number. So, if it's worth 200 grand, the bank will give me back 150. Ideally I'm in for $150,000 or less, because now I own this asset truly with none of my own money. That's the goal. So that's the first number I look at. Second number is cash flow. So I look for a 1.2 DSCR or greater. And how that breaks down is it means that you essentially have more income coming in than you're going to have in expenses going out, meaning that the deal will actually cash flow positive. You'll have more money in the bank at the end of the year than what you started with at the beginning of the year. So with interest rates at 8%, give or take, cash flow can be tight. So what I'm doing something called interest only loans. So essentially it makes my mortgage payment less, which means my cash flow is increased. So these are called interest only loans. If you're actively doing real estate and you're buying rental properties, and you want an introduction to people that will fund interest only loans, just shoot me a DM and just say like interest only loans, and I'll get you connected with the people. But that's one strategy that I'm using is burring on the refinance, putting an interest only mortgage in place. So my cash flow is increased. Now it's a 10-year interest only option. So it's fixed for 10 years. So my goal is sometime in the first 2 to 10 years, hopefully interest rates drop sometime during that time. And then I'm going to refinance that asset into a amortizing loan for the rest of my life. So that's my strategy with those. So that's what I'm doing, interest only loans. So if you got questions, drop questions. Want to get through some stuff for you guys. One of the questions I have is, have you heard of cost segregation study? Yes, that's what I just talked about earlier. If you are buying any real estate, you should be using cost segregation studies for the most part. Talk with your CPA, but I cost seg everything that I buy. If you have to start back at zero, where would you start to get into real estate? The easiest way to start real estate is wholesaling, but it's not. Wholesaling is like a loose term. To me, all wholesaling is finding amazing deals. Because if you find a great deal, you can wholesale it. You can raise money to buy it and flip it. You can raise money to buy it and keep it as a rental property. You can probably even wholesale it and get a piece of the equity upside of it if the deal is that good. So where would I start if I started from zero? I would get great at finding off-market discounted real estate deals and putting them in contract. Because if you come to me and there's a house that's worth 200 grand renovated and you have it in contract at 70 grand and it needs $40,000 of rehab, you have the ticket. everybody wants to buy that deal, right? So if you have amazing deals, you can print money for the rest of your life. Would you recommend buying land for investment? If you're going to develop something, yes, but land is a negatively cash flowing asset. You own the land, you have to pay property taxes, and you have to pay to cut the grass. So you're losing money every single month, right? So I would not necessarily buy it for like a long-term strategy. Again, unless you're super flush with cash and you can sit on it. But if you're developing it, maybe. Where are you currently buying homes that meet your DSCR criteria? Mine are in Central Ohio. My properties are in Central Ohio. But again, I'm using that interest only loan to be able to increase the cash flow, which increases my DSCR. Have you thought about building single family houses, then refinancing a rent? Yes. I've built probably, I don't know, 10, 15 houses maybe. So I've done new construction before. I like it. It was very profitable when I did it, but I was never able to do it. The cost to build is so expensive. I was never able to make it cash flow, right? My land basis, meaning I bought the land for like $5,000-$10,000. So my basis was essentially zero. But with that, once you add back the build cost, it was so expensive to build, it wouldn't cash flow. And these are when rates were like 4%, not when they're 8% like today. So I wasn't able to make it happen. If interest rates were raised 2% in the middle of your renovation, would you still refinance after the renovation? Great question. So if my strategy was to refinance and keep it as a rental property, and let's say interest rates go from 8% to 10% over the next, 60. Number one is from my purchase to my refinance is 90 days. So I'm very fast in and out. It takes me 90 days to buy, renovate, rent, and refinance. 90 days from close to close. So that has to happen very quickly, number one. So I do it very fast. But then if let's say it did go from 8% to 2% in that 90-day window, would I refinance? If it cash flowed, yes. Right? Everything's on cash flow. I will never buy a negatively cash flowing asset. Let me rephrase that. I will buy a negatively cash flowing asset as it stands today, but once stabilized, meaning because I bought houses for $100,000 that rents $500. That's a horrible deal. But the plan is to go in, renovate it, and then increase the rent to $1,700. Right? That I would do. But I would never buy a negatively cash flowing asset once it is stabilized. So once I get to the end of the renovation and my plan is to refinance, if it's still cash flowed positive, yes, I would refinance it. If it negatively cash flowed, then probably not. I'd probably sell it and get out of it. The cool thing is like when you're buying deals to keep as rental properties, if it doesn't work cash flow wise, meaning the interest rates go up, the way that you bought it, it should still work to be able to flip it and sell it and be profitable and get out of it, right? So you should have multiple exit strategies when you do this. Cash flow is king. It's the most important thing. The only reason a business or an individual goes bankrupt is from lack of cash flow. There is no other reason. If you're spending $1 million a month, but you got $1.1 million coming in every month, you will never go bankrupt. So the only reason or way anybody goes bankrupt or anybody goes into foreclosure or anybody loses their assets is because they lacked cash flow. That's why I say, and drop any comments you guys got in the comment section, but that's why I say is like, I'm only buying deals that cash flow. It has to cash flow. My plan is to get business loan to purchase property, then pool equity to fix. Is this a viable idea? If you're getting a business loan, it depends on the interest rate, right? I use private money and I pay like 8 to 10%. So that's just me personally. So if you can get a business loan for less than that, then it could work, yes. But just make sure you factor in your cost of capital into the deal. Meaning that if you're borrowing $100,000 at 12% interest for a year, as you buy and renovate that deal, make sure you factor in paying $1,000 a month in those interest payments. What? I don't even understand that question. But, the cost of money is important, but the availability is really what matters. It's not the cost of the money that matters, it's the availability of it. I'm going to pay the tax man, so don't pay taxes. No, I'm not saying commit fraud. What I'm saying is there are strategies to offset your tax liability legally. And what I do is I use cost segregation studies, which is it's called accelerated depreciation. That's how I do it. And if you're a full-time real estate investor, that's how I would recommend anybody doing it. Because you want to pay your quote unquote fair share, but you never want to pay more than that. Whatever the laws allow you to do, why not do that? When starting out, where's the best place to get loans, and what is needed for the loans? So my entire business, my entire life, the last 10 years, 10 years of real estate has been all funded from something called private money lenders. So these are individuals that lend me money. I've never had my credit pulled. I've never had a background check. I've never submitted pay stubs. I've never had work verification. I've never been underwritten. I've never been any of those things. Because when you work with private money lenders, it's 100% relationship based. So I get 100% of my deals funded, 100% of them. Not meaning all of my deals, meaning that my entire individual deal is funded 100%. Meaning if I need 100 grand to purchase and 50 grand to renovate, I'm raising $150,000. So I have no down payment. I have no money out of pocket. I get all the rehab day one, and I don't make monthly interest payments. So I do deals genuinely without using a single penny of my own money. So that's my strategy. That's what I would recommend if you're looking to get rolling in real estate, is to use private money lenders to buy real estate. It's the best money you're going to get, the best terms, the best access, the fastest speed, all these things. Where do you find these private money lenders? Great question. It's through networking. It's through talking to people. If I've raised probably $25 million over the last 9 years of private money to literally fund all my deals. So if you want to learn, more about private money, if you comment the word private or DM me the word private, I'll send you some more information over on that. But it's a game changer. Like if you know how to get, so I'm buying, I think 10 houses in December, 9 houses in a quad. So 13 units in December. And it's all through private money. I think it'll be like $1.8-ish million. I got to confirm that number, but I'm raising all private money to buy all these assets. So if you can raise money, you can go buy as much real estate as you want to buy. Like I'm buying as much real estate as humanly possible because I'm using other people's money, right? It's a simple formula. Like if you don't have to use your money, why would you not buy real estate? Have you used the Burr method in Tennessee? Does the current market rate affect the Burr method at all with the higher rates? I've not used it in Tennessee, but I know people that have. It works in every market. Is it smart to take a loan out on a 401k to buy real estate? It can. They can. Again, it's dependent on the rate that you're going to be charging, right? How much you're paying back. Because if you're borrowing at 10%, you need to be able to take that money and go make 10% minimum just to net zero. Let me borrow a couple dollars. What up, Strat? I got you. What's the goal for 2024? A lot of goals. I want to double my rental portfolio. So double my portfolio. I want to help a lot of other people achieve their goals through coaching and real estate. I've been able to help a lot of people make a lot of money through real estate. So continuously make that impact, and then scale another business. Scale another business to 7 figures plus. There's a lot of goals. Grow my family, spend time with my family, travel the world. There's a lot of good stuff going on. What does the overall structure of your business look like? Do you have a team looking for deals? So my business, it looks like you're streaming on another website. I'm live on Instagram and YouTube right now. What does the overall structure of your business look like? So right now, I'm buying for cash flow, meaning my main goal is to buy properties to burr into. I want to buy rental properties, so that's my goal. So every deal I look at, I'm looking if it cash flows, and then if it does cash flow, I'm buying it as a rental property. If it does not cash flow and there's still profit, then I'll flip it just to make money to keep things going. The reason I can buy 95% rental properties today, because you don't make a bunch of money on rental properties today. It's a long-term wealth play. But the reason I'm able to do that is because I have other businesses that provide me income, right? Like I said at the beginning of this call, you got to be able to have income coming in to then be able to build wealth, right? So that's my strategy. Cash flow, baby. Agreed. Explain DSCR and how that works. So DSCR, what it stands for is debt service coverage ratio. That's what it stands for, debt service coverage ratio. And essentially what it means is that, like, so let's say your monthly principal interest. So DSCR is like two things. DSCR loans is one aspect, and then true DSCR is another. So let me try to break this down. A DSCR loan requires it to be a 1.2 or better, meaning that let's say your principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, your PITI is $1,000 a month. So you spend $1,000 a month on mortgages, and your rent is $1,200 per month. That means that you have a 1.2 DSCR. If it's $1,300 in income and $1,000 in expenses, it's a 1.3 DSCR. So DSCR lenders will lend you money if you have a 1.2 DSCR or greater. In real business, DSCR is true net profit, meaning that you have your principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, and you have to add in property management, and you have to add in vacancies, and you have to add in repairs, right? So, $1,000 of income, $1,000 of PITI, $1,200 of income, you're essentially going to lose money because after you factor in property management, vacancies, and repairs, you're going to be cash flow negative. So a true DSCR is after all expenses. The way that banks lend money, or the way that DSCR lenders lend money, is based on PITI over income. Hopefully that makes sense. Do you invest in the U.S.? Yes. Thanks for the gym. Hope life is treating you well. Life is great. Living, loving life. What would you do with the 401k? Buy real estate. Yeah, I would buy real estate, or I would become a private money lender. You can lend that money to other real estate investors and make a great ROI. There's a lot of haters in the comments. What cash flow should I look at with 150,000? I don't fully if like what I'm doing is I'm taking my money and I'm not even using my money. I'm raising private money to buy real estate, and that this is a whole formula. I'm going to explain this at a very high level. If I'm burring into a property, the goal is to use zero of my dollars. But on the refinance, if I'm all in for 155 grand and the bank gives me back 150 grand, and I have to keep 5 grand of my money in a deal into a $200,000 asset, I'm okay spending 5 grand to buy a $200,000 house that makes money every single month. I'm good with that. So I would use that extra income to put into these deals if needed, right? If needed, you can still do perfect deals. How do you decide who to coach? People that want to get it, they're driven. They want to be successful. They want to change their life. They're, two things. They're tired of, working a 9 to 5. They want to start making real estate, their income, right? We can teach people how to do that. Or if you're in real estate, but you're not getting consistent, you don't have consistent deal flow, and you're not building wealth through rental properties and raising money, we can take you from doing a couple deals here and there to consistently doing real estate, to consistently doing business, right? So people that want to change that part of their life and be better in those aspects, those are the people that we want to coach. What would you consider cash flow on a rental? 1.2 DSCR or greater. What's your ideal net cash flow range on a long-term rental? Again, I look at DSCR. That's the only thing I care about. 1.2 DSCR or greater. So it's not a dollar amount. So the bigger the deal, the higher the DSCR is always 1.2 minimum. And if it's $100,000 deal or $1 million deal, it's still 1.2, but there's more profit on the higher price point. With private money lenders, how do you make sure your scope of work is on time? I don't know what that means. What percentage of your properties are Section 8? 2 or 3%, maybe 2 or 3%. Do DSCR lenders look at personal income as a factor when qualifying a property for the loan? No, they do not. They look at your credit score, but they don't look at your income. What other business do you have? I have a government funding company. I have a coaching program, and a lot of other things with my personal brand. I'm still going. We're not stopping yet, but has this been beneficial so far? Drop a comment and let me know if you've learned something today. Do you and Nate Berger compete on the same properties? I have no idea. I don't think so. What if rent doesn't cover the mortgage? It's not a good rental property. Sell it and move on. What CRM do you use? Different things for different businesses. My government funding, I use Zoho. My coaching business, I use Go High Level. And my real estate business, I just use Google Drive, Google Sheets. I'm ready, coach. What's up, Tara? Comment the word elevate or shoot me a DM. I'll get you some information over on that. It's time to scale. If you're interested in learning more about, my coaching, how we can help you grow in real estate, if you comment the word elevate, we can send you over some information on that. Understood. 1.2 DSCR plus 100%. That's the only thing that I care about personally. Do you do any short-term rental properties or just long-term? I used to have 7 short Airbnbs, but I got rid of all of them. I took them all long-term. Since you're in Cincinnati, do you and Nate Berger compete on the same houses? I'm not in Cincinnati. I'm in Columbus, Ohio. Bunch of emojis. Love how clear you make things. Great. I'm glad this has been valuable. Again, we're going live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. So lock it in your calendar. Every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. 10 single-family house rentals. Congrats. That's huge. Never flipped. Just save 20% and buy more. Probably need to flip occasionally so I can buy more rentals. Or you can burr into houses. You don't have to flip, but you can use the burr strategy to buy, way more properties than you're buying right now. I would definitely look into using the burr strategy because you don't need 20%. You can have 0% down and still own these properties. What advice would you give to investors with 50 to 100 units looking to expand? Buy more, figure out it's obviously working for you. Number one is I would play the tax game, learn how to structure things correctly where you don't have to pay taxes at the end of the year. And then also, grow what it is that you're doing. If you're doing single family, buy a lot more single family, or do what I'm doing. I'm buying single family and I'm starting to buy commercial. I'm buying triple nets. I'm buying apartment buildings. I'm buying commercial warehouse buildings. I'm going bigger. I may have missed it, but with the private money, lenders making sure scope of work, contractors to make sure you don't fall behind any tactics. So again, this is going to sound crazy, but with private money lenders, this is really probably going to sound insane. Drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts on what I'm about to say. When I buy houses with private money lender funds, they don't know the address that they lend on. They don't know the purchase price. They don't know the rehab, and they don't know the ARV. They don't know any of those things. They don't know any of those things. They trust me, Austin Rutherford. So literally, I can shoot a text message and say, hey, I got a deal closing on Friday. It's $200,000. Are you in? Yes. Send me the wire info. That's how I raise money. That's the power of private money. If you can understand money and you can raise money like that, it's game over. They don't ask for scopes of work. They don't ask for contractor references. They don't ask for any of those things. It's an absolute game changer. What was your biggest obstacle when growing your volume? Raising money was definitely number one. Having access to money to be able to go buy more deals. So access to money and then contracting. Making sure you have a great contracting team because that can screw you up big time. What do you pay property management fee? We pay 8%, 8% to property management. Do we do novations? No, I just buy everything. Are you doing any syndication? I have not, but I would. I have zero financial partners in any of my deals. We own about 130 properties, about $25 million worth, with zero financial partners, no syndication. Yep, all they care about what they get at the end. Rich people don't care. Agreed. All they care is about the ROI, that they trust you and that they're going to get their money back. All right, we got a few more questions. What more we got tonight? Appreciate y'all being on here. Like I said, every Wednesday I'm going to start going live. So we're going to talk about a topic at the beginning of the call. We'll break something down for y'all, and then we're going to do a Q&A thereafter. So lock it in your calendar every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. And like I said, if you are interested in any coaching, if you want to scale real estate, or if you want to get started in real estate, finding deals, building wealth through owning rental properties, raising private money, comment the word elevate, and I'll send you some more information on that. But we still got some time here for a few more questions. What's the minimum dollar or percentage you're looking to make per door? Again, I go off of DSCR. I go off of a 1.2 DSCR or greater. Do you think the market's going to go crazy due to 6 decreases in rates? If they actually do decrease rates 6 times, yes, I think it's going to go absolutely bananas. Personally, I don't think that they're going to decrease rates 6 times next year. That's just my 2 cents. Burr method ever failed and bank didn't refinance as much as you were hoping for after the renovations? Yeah, for sure, all the time. You know, there's multiple strategies to get around that. Number one, let's say you thought the property was going to be worth $200,000, and then the bank came back and appraised it at $180,000. Number one is you can fight the appraisal, right? So you can challenge the appraiser's value. So you can supply evidence of why they're wrong. They may have only counted as a 2-bed and it's a 3-bed. Or they may have only had 1,000 square feet and it's 1,300 square feet, right? So number one, fight the appraisal. I do that all the time. Usually I win. So fight the appraisal. Number two, just because the appraiser says it's worth 180 doesn't mean that you cannot sell it for $200,000. So if it comes up short, then just list it for sale for $200,000, make your money, make your $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 in profit and move on to the next, right? Or number three, refinance it. And you just may have to put a little bit of your own money into the game. There's multiple options if that happens. Keep crushing it, Austin. What up, DM? Appreciate you. Best coach in the game. Appreciate you, Alex, my brother. Man, I appreciate that, bro. It's been dope to see your journey, your growth. You're crushing it, man. Let me know any way I can help, brother. Can you get a DSCR loan if I have a conventional 30-year fixed already? Absolutely, yes, 100%. 4-unit or single family for first deal? Whatever deal makes the most sense. Whatever deal comes across the table first. Thank you for answering my question. Appreciate it, brother. Absolutely, 100%. I got all the classes. Let's get it. It's time to run it up. We're here to help. Should homes with foundation cracks automatically be disqualified from consideration for purchase? No, definitely not. Because most people think like that. Most people see the structural issues and they're like, oh, I'm out. I'm done. I just bought a house where I had to literally lift the house up. So put beams to raise the house in the basement, lift it up, and then remove the entire foundation, the whole foundation, and then rebuild the entire foundation. I just did that on a house last week, which means I got a great deal on a piece of property because everybody else was scared. Everybody else was scared, right? You can use that one as leverage to get a lower price because everybody's scared of foundation problems. And remember this, everything can be fixed for a price. I've yet to run into anything that cannot be fixed for a price, right? Now, you can't fix a location, right? The location is the location. So everything outside of a location, you can fix for a price. Dang, you're down to earth, man. Answering all the questions. Thank you, brother. Absolutely. 100%. Like I said, going live every Wednesday to get your questions answered. So make sure you lock it in the calendar, put it on the schedule, live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. We're going to be here. We're going to be answering your questions. And also, like I said, if you're interested in coaching at all, drop the word elevate, shoot me a DM. let me know how I can help. Would love to help you get rolling, scaling, building wealth through real estate, building wealth through other people's money through real estate. Let's get it. Cool. Well, I'm gonna wrap it up for tonight. I'll be back next week. Appreciate you all being here. Holidays coming up. Enjoy the time with the family. Be present. And we'll see you. We'll see you next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Peace. Have a good night.